Okay, so let's go over today's trade recap. And I just ended up taking zero trades, no trades for me. I'm flat on the day. Um, so I was pretty much one-sided bearish here on every single asset. I thought I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna trade away from this. Now, in which asset was I willing to trade? It's gonna be ES towards these lows. It's gonna be either ES towards these lows, right? We still have previous days low. As you can see, like previous days low is very, I would say like on the daily time frame overall. This scanner is going to expand, right? Which I think I can show at this time. Yeah, okay. Right before 10 a.m. open, I can definitely show the daily candle it looked. As it's like this. Let me do this actually. As you can see, we're still respecting EQ. Like right there, we just tapped EQ. I'm still probably willing to trade this lower. Now we'll see like this doesn't work, of course, because like we're rejecting this. There's SMT and whatnot. Like overall, like still here, we manipulate these highs and like, okay, I'm still willing to trade this lower. Right. And the ideal thing would have been we expand lower here, we fill Tony play this low, and then we can go towards these lows. So this overall was my buzz for today, and it didn't play out. So it's also partially the reason why I didn't take trades. But again, my bias can be wrong. I can still take trades to the opposing side. Also, like, yeah, like I think today the highest probability like trade for me to look was like shorts on YM, towards like this low, and perhaps these depends, right? Like these are kind of spaced out. These equals here with this one, but like these are all fair swings here. So yeah. So always bearish. Prior to the driver, get two stage. Put 15-minute here. Okay, two stage like this. Well, YM is the lagging asset. And here I have to wait for a swing point, so I wait for this candle close. Once we close like this 9 a.m. opens, or so now we create a swing point. It's a 15-minute swing point, right? I have to wait for this because otherwise there would have been a short opportunity here, which is like this 3-minute CSD, which happens on every single asset. That's right here. But again, uh, like this would have played out to our or not, but like this like here we don't have yet. We still don't have a swing point yet. So I'm still waiting, and like this is pretty much 9 a.m. opening low first, as you can see. Like it just opens low first. So I'm like, okay, like let's see. Since we're opening low first instead of a 15-minute gap, I'm like, okay, I want to see this close. Once we inverse this gap, I'm like, okay, pretty much we could just create a swing point, and we have this consequent 5-minute CSD, which even the 3-minute here it's just pretty much the same. On this asset, it's pretty much the same. We get on every single asset, and we get expansion on this. So I placed my limit order based on this CSD, and again, I traded YM. As opposed to NQES because of like this being the lagging asset. So the driver should just expand away from this two-stage SMT, or it should expand away from the high of the day. If this is gonna be the high of the day, it should expand away at the driver without remanipulating it. If we remanipulate this, we're probably gonna go higher, right? Now again, we get this drop first. So this is the low today, by the way. Alright, so this is YM. Again, RTY is also aligned. It's very close to these lows. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep my limit. Or my limit order was like, let's see. So I'm gonna tour with this daily low. And so these are a little bit more spaced out. So I was like, okay, since these are very close in time, there's really no PD array here between these two. I'm probably gonna do this. They're very close. All right, so we're gonna hit this. Usually, if we're bearish, we go for this right away. There's no reason to retrace. As you can see, like my entry would have been here. So I mean, not here, actually, a little bit lower. So you can see I can just like target to over this and like we're breaking it this low. Well, again, so I don't get filled. Let's go over this. So why didn't take it on NQ on ES, which they would have worked, but again, I don't like this. Wait, is this replay? It is. Okay. So wait, this is before the like it has to be like this. Okay, it's not you showing. So I don't know why it does this, but I don't know why it can only show in one window. Anyway, so we get this CSD. Right, look at these. Where there's so many fair swings here. it's a two-stage in one law, but I always like to pair like this with phase surprise. And yeah, we're retracing inside this gap, but like these highs here are not supposed to remain intact, right? I'm probably gonna see like this 15-minute gap, or if you get like this, I can trust it. But I was trying to trade this candle close, right? So it's like this, and I'm much rather I'm expecting like it's possible here we do something like this. Well, YM retrace inside of this 15-minute gap, or because we do get the CSD 15-minute CSD as well. We'll go over where I actually should have done better today, or this short. So I always trade the lagging asset if it's a positional entry. So even here, right? Technically this was Tuesday, so I could have traded NQ, but I wasn't like I didn't like the daily profile. I mean like the daily candle itself very deep into the range. Like we're pretty close to this high, right? It's like we're like even deep premium. There's no PD right here, right? So just like we inverse this outwardly. It's just a pretty ass. Um, I of course like it delivered to war in this case, but it's pretty ass like with freaking framework here, which I don't like. So I just didn't trade this. So we get this V-shape CSD in every single asset, and yeah, I mean, so this CSD here, let's see. Let me just get a replay. So it would have delivered to war on ES and NQ. I took this. Well, I wanted to take it on YM because it just makes sense that YM is gonna expand here towards these. It's a way better draw. So I don't know why today it didn't happen. I think it might have been because like RTY hit this. Yeah, so it's like ES hit previous this low prior to YM. I started reversing. So again, so yeah, I had this right. The driver. If I go to 1 minute, I have to go 1 minute to show you guys. So this was just would have been my entry. As you can see, this is 9:30 here. So it almost taps me in. Right, very very close to being tapped in. Then we hit the lowest point of the day, and I like just removed my limit order because if I was in the trade, I would have gone break even here. Again, so if we hit this low, yes, I already hit previous day's low. I want to see this S&P being broken. Like I don't want to see us coming back all the way up here. And also like something to keep in mind is that I was fine like letting my limit order be here. So like it's still intact there because we get this 50 minutes USD. Or I didn't realize at the time. I was probably like, okay, I might get it. If it didn't, I was just trading like this. 5 minutes, which would have been fine. Okay. So what I was gonna say is like, so we have this 9:30 candle opening low first. Like it makes a shallow high, doesn't hit this. There's no 70 fill. It opens low first, and then I don't want to see this candle come all the way back up here inside of this gap. Like if we're trying to be bearish, it should have been like this candle opens high into this gap, fills some order, and then goes lower. Like by the point we're at the lowest point of the day, if we come back up here, it's probably gonna be a deep retracement, which is like unlikely to continue lower, right? So that's why I removed my limit order. Oh, by the way, so like, yeah, I was gonna say is I could have definitely use no, it depends. I'll be honest. I think I would probably not done this usually. So you can see my stop loss would have been here at the 5-minute bodies or 3-minute bodies. I don't remember exactly, but it would have been around here. Let's see. There's some bodies here. It would have been around there. And so we do get this 50-minute CSD, but I don't, and like if I use the 50-minute bodies, I could have probably got in this trade. I would have just like, like, you have to like pre-fire this where, and I don't know if I have enough time to where like I can change this, like I can move my limit order exactly where it needs to be with 9:30 volatility. I'd much rather just have it here because my limit is pretty much a 15-minute gap. It's like my limit order is like pretty much here at this 50-minute run here. So I should have been too hard if I used like this stop loss here. So it was like this. So I was like, okay, you know what? Like if you're gonna go like you're gonna retrace inside of this gap, we're probably like it's fine, right? I might keep it here. And yeah, we don't, so I drop and we reverse from there. And then so that's my bias is proven wrong. Because I would say that I mean it's not the cleanest framework, but once this is proven wrong, I'm like, okay, which asset am I willing to trade higher? And truly, like if even though we only have this SMT here, so I'm not even willing to trade this, which honestly would have been the cleanest framework we'll see. So this is current high of the day. As you can see, we failed to manipulate like the high of the day and this high, so hourly high with this. So I would definitely wanted to wait for 10, by the way. Like I need to wait for 10. I need for a 15-minute gap, which we do get. And which so I just sit back and I'm like, okay, which freaking asset am I willing to trade? Let me review these drawings as well. So again, we have SMT reaches this low, every asset reverses. And like if I'm being completely honest, this current high today, I'm like, okay, I want to trade NQ because it's closer to previous high, right? I mean, this is like where previous high is this. Yeah. It's this, sorry, wherever. It's like this 4 hour swim and previous high, like very close to these. And I just say, I'm like, okay, like if we're gonna get here, like at 10, I'm probably gonna see this high being filled to my play right away, which again, as you can see, we don't get. And I want to see a clean lower time for PA, which we don't get. Like, look at this PA. Or you can like this OB doesn't get respected. As you can see, we're close through EQ of it. Like it's borderline being respected. If you use the Wix, it's still being respected. If you use like this, we're respecting CE or this is a rejection block and whatnot. And then we get this CSD here. So you could like people took this. But I personally don't like this firm. Like if I look at the lower time frame, it's just not as clean. It's just not V-shaped. It's not clean. So we're probably gonna trade towards like away from this and towards these highs. But I would probably want to see like, if I'm being completely honest, like I would probably want to see this right away. We got this, like immediately just do like this. Imagine like this. We got a V shape like this. We got this CSD. I would have been confident entering here because like this is pretty close proximity, right? Probably where perhaps I might have needed to like adjust the RR or like where we go for a little bit more than this. But if you got this, like this would have been totally fine. Alright, so we don't filter any plate, but then what we do is like we just chop around, we resweep this low, we get this deep retracement, and then we see SD here. If I look at the lower time frame, this looks so horrible. Like look at this. See how we're leaving? Like this looks like a retracement, right? It looks like a retracement to me. So it's just not V-shaped for me to take it. Right. And the only asset, which again, so I'm only willing to trade NQ. I'm like, okay, like if we're gonna go higher, I'm probably willing to trade NQ because it makes sense, right? If we're gonna expand, we're gonna hit these sides. So like, I see this PA, I'm like, okay, I'm just done. Like as soon as I saw like this CSD here, and we kind of like pushed this deep. I think this was the around this time. I think it's before we got the CSD that I logged out of my funded account. Like, okay, I'm not trading this. I still kept watching. And also, like, so there's this on the you could have probably taken. And there's also RTY, like to the point where I trying to trade towards this high, like a previous day's high, right? 4 hour, like whatnot. But like, it's just like the daily candle is like fucked. There's like no way we get there. Like again, whenever you get such a large expansion with a large wick like this, usually this is an inside day. So I just don't think we're probably gonna get like at the time here, like when 10 a.m. is opening, even it's opening up here, like I'm just not expecting this to be hit. Like overall, it's lower probability that's probably gonna be hit. So I would say like I'm saying this because this has the quote unquote cleanest PA, I would say. So like we feel a 50-minute gap. Like I'm just not gonna show you like it's right here, it's like 50-minute gap here. And so we get this first CSD and we get this continuation. Right, it's not as fast, but at least we're respecting EQ. Right? I mean the mean threshold, not EQ, my bad. But you can see like we're respecting this OB clearly, and then we get this close here, and it's also like it's at the same time as YM. CSD here, right? So you could take this and you go break even at this high and you shoot for 2R. Like this. Or you could hold until that, but again, I wouldn't do that. So overall hindsight, I think this could have probably been a better trade that I might have wanted to take, but again, so overall, I don't like the loaded day. Like the loaded day's been put nowhere relevant. It's just like consolidation. We take out counter consolidation low. We're trading away from this, but is it true reversal here? It doesn't make sense that we don't have SMT here. Because if you think about it, RTY does not have SMT with this low, right? This SMT only exists on between the triad. So here, even on YM, right, we're just like, look at this, we're expanding away from phase swing. So I couldn't just be like, okay, this is definitely gonna go towards this high. I couldn't take this straight, so I just didn't. It's fine. And also, one thing that last thing that I want to note is that I was like, okay, there's a chance since I'm still bearish. I mean, let me just re-put these drawings here. We failed to play on the hourly, but this 90-minute candle still hadn't closed, and as you can see, we started rejecting, right? When these are assets started rejecting this high, where we don't fail 20 play right away, we get such a small gap, right? Here, just no gap. All right, there's a PSP continuation again here, but it's one cracking correlation, and it's very shitty lower time frame PA here, to where I would probably not want to trade it. Well, that's just me. Right, that's fine. So we get this deep retracement, and I'm like, okay, we feel to only play this high, but like pretty deep retracement. Let's see how we react off of this gap, because if we pretty much displace through this gap, we close inside of it already. Like this 90-minute candle was gonna close as a C2 off of the sweep. This 90-minute candle here fill. This 90-minute fair like my bad. The sweep of this high and the current high of the day. And if it goes to get close like back inside bearish perhaps, I definitely could see shorts, right? So those were still in play. I think I cannot show you though, unfortunately. But you can see like this was pretty close, right? At some point we're definitely like we're literally below the lowest point, like the highest point of the day. So this 90-minute could have definitely closed bearish. Now again, unfortunately, like we don't get that. But I still like willing to take shorts pretty much. But yeah, once we see as the higher start expanding, I just logged off. And yeah, like I don't know. I don't want to trade really from these phase swings, but just because like yeah, you need to have a very good draw on liquidity if you're not trade away from phase swings. Right? There has to be like a way better draw on liquidity than these. And right here is like this is not a good draw. There's like no way we get it there. This is not even a good draw. Look at this, like C2 into expansion. Like it's high resistant liquidity, right? So the reason I was able to trade away from fair swings here on Monday is because like look at this lower resistance liquidity, right? I'm trading away from like a gap here with SMT, and we're trading towards lower resistance liquidity here. Like we're trading away from fair swings towards high resistance. So like I could not trade longs. So, like pretty much I could not take in longs. So honestly, the argument to be made is that here, so every asset is retracing. We can definitely leave this. So every asset is retracing away from the current high of the day, and we already failed on it. So like, I mean, not every asset within this diet between R2I and YM, they're retracing away from this. So the reason I wanted to wait for the 90-minute candle is because okay, I was like, okay, this asset is definitely stronger, so it definitely got to take this high. So I literally said like, man, just like it's a trade based on this idea that since we're waiting for the 90-minute candle, which opens at 10:30, like we're probably gonna hit this high. Even if we're bearish, we're probably gonna get SSMT, something like okay. I just imagine like this was SSMT here, right? I mean, it is 10:30 again, so but there's no SMT, so just imagine we got this, and this would have been like a 90-minute C2 close, and this also like hit this high and reversed. So the whole idea behind this is that I don't like doing this very often. So like I just like, especially today, I didn't want to force a trade, but it's definitely possible. Like the logic is, okay, so we are trading inside of this gap. This gap is holding. Every asset is between these two. I want to say every asset, whatever shit in this diet, right? So every asset expanding away from this 15-minute swing point we're about to create. So even if you are wrong, and today we're gonna expand lower, it is very likely that RTY hits this high. So you can take this as like a 2R. You can like, or you can go for 3R, whatever you want. And so you could take this and yeah, just like shoot for 2R and you go breaking at this high, because it like worst case scenario, it's very likely we hit this high right after this when we like are in sync, trading away from this low, respecting gaps, right? So it's likely we get this, but But yeah, it's just like I had a feeling that today was probably gonna be low probability, and we're not gonna trade into this. I don't know. I had a feeling we're not likely to like shoot towards this, especially like NQ, right? It just didn't. We just exhausted like the entirety of the range and this manipulation lag here. Well, like not the entirety of it, but pretty much all of it. So we're like, I don't know. Yeah, I just like it's not clean. Just not gonna take it. But if I wanted to take a trade, I think this would have probably been the highest probability. Like, unless I got somehow feel that we're gonna be 2R here, or if I shorted, like it's possible even like you to short NQ. But yeah, like here I guess if you hold until this low, unfortunately get cooked because yes, it's so man, this BA is so weird. Yeah, really, we're never in a range like I'm definitely gonna start doing this. Whenever in a range, like, and the one asset hits the drawn liquidity that you have marked, for example, here for bearish, like, honestly, just close most of the position or like, it's like, yeah, you never know. Once we're trending, like, of course, like this SMT is gonna be broken at some point, but like, yeah, when we're ranging, it's probably best to like close your position here. It's just like, yeah, it's like you're probably gonna make more money this way in these conditions as opposed to, I don't know, where we're trending higher. The SMT are bound to be broken, but here it's not. It's not for sure. It's not given. Stuff like this can happen. Like, yep. So yeah, like if I had to take a trade, it'd probably been this, but I didn't like the framework. I didn't have like a lot of conviction that we're gonna hit this high, and it just made sense though that if I had conviction that we're gonna hit this high, I would take this, right. I would take it this and be right here. It won't even be the CSD here because mine still hasn't reversed away from this first one. Right, something I personally use here. Yeah, it's like so I require like CSD to happen at the same time when assets like asset within the triad or the diet like this, when they are inside like when they're in sync pretty much or in no my bad. What I meant to say is like I require sync CSD like this in the sense that it happens at pretty much the same time or within like one like can happen like on another candle. As you can see, like in this case, like this CSD here happens before this has a CSD. So like this is not a protected swing. Like if you respect this gap, it is right. So you could probably take this CSD expecting this gap to hold, but what I would rather do is show like let price show me that this gap is gonna be respected. And once we CSD here, I can take this trade on RTY. Once we're respecting this CSD, we're respecting bullish order flow, and now we get an OB and we create it at the same time. That's what I like personally to trade. Again, this makes it way higher probability like in CSDs. Like I personally found that like this for myself. I've been using like only like as of lately, especially only entries that are like this. So as I said, like so what I want to say is actually that like they don't these two assets don't have to be in the same phase of price. So like for example, let's say YM was like way deeper in discount, right? So it hit this low, but once we hit this low, we have a CSD that happens at the same time like this. You can trade this, right? Or whatever. This would definitely have had a deeper retracement if this happened, but yeah. And so within the dyad, it's like I require both asset to CSD at the same time if I want to trade one of them. Whereas with the triad or SWAM and QES, I only need 2 out of the 3. And ideally the third one that doesn't CSD, it's like disrespecting bullish order flow. So for example here, let's just imagine NQES had like the CSD already, right? Which happens on YM on this candle. Let's see, let's just imagine NQES CSD within this candle. And like this is the only asset that doesn't. What can I look at is that first of all we had the CSD. Well, again, therefore if I'm looking at this one, well, I'm expecting this one to happen at the same time. But we have pretty clean inversions, right? So we inverse both of these gaps. We're very close to CSD to a point where we're already disaffecting like bearish order flow, like clearly, right? So we don't have the CSD yet, but we can expect it to happen. So yeah, I mean, very simple. And yeah, I mean, that's going to be it for this back then. I mean, that trade recap. Yep. All right.